Yeah, recording is on, and we are going to see today few more things about React. So let's create the project first. Can you tell me the steps for creating project? Steps for creating project. Can you tell me? First what? npm create, or we can use yesterday's folder, no problem. Just delete it. And here I can say 9192. Just rename 92. So here if you see, we have index.html. So we have discussed what is a tailwind configuration, post CSS configuration, width configuration, right? What is the public directory? We have seen node modules. You know what do you mean by node modules? Git ignore file, you know, eslint rc cjs. So this is the file. Syntax about your JavaScript that are maintained by this file. So you would be working under the src folder. You would be working under what? src folder, right? This output.css, we don't need it. That has been auto created. So if you see, we have discussed index.html. Index.html will load main.jsx. Main.jsx will load this app file. So for now, I will remove this strict mode. And in the very beginning, we are going to talk about this part. What is this exactly? How you can write? This is the HTML. Here you have not written JavaScript anywhere, right? JavaScript is in the main JSX. But in the main JSX, you have written the HTML code. What is this? Can you tell me what is this? If you can tell me. What do you mean by this exactly? You may refer to the official documentation. So here is the official documentation. What is React? So installation part we have seen, this part. So thinking in React or describing the UI, your first component. Whenever you talk about the React, what it is exactly? See, index.html load main JSX. And if you see here, in the main JSX, you have written reference to the app JSX. App JSX is nothing but what? Returning a h1. And here you can say, hey, hi. Okay. Now, how do we run the code? Can you tell me? How do you run the code? npm run dev. How do you run the code? npm, okay, folder name is different now. cd, just go to the desktop once again, terminal, cd desktop, cd merge stack, cd what? Day 9192, and here cd react tailwind. Inside that, npm run I need to change the version. This is for me only. NVM use 18. npm run dev. In a dev mode, your application would be getting started. So here you can say localhost. What? Localhost 5173. Port number 5173. Hey hi. We can see that hey hi over here. Now if you inspect the code, you will not find that app and other thing. Can you see here? Directly hey hi have been added into this. But if you see the source code, first index.html is getting loaded, then main.jsx is getting loaded. Can you see here? Index.html, one script is getting loaded, main.jsx, which is nothing but this. From the main.jsx, it is loading this app. It is loading something like this app. And app is contain the hey hi. What app is app.jsx is containing? Just a JavaScript function which is returning the h1. But my question is that how can you write my question is that how can you write HTML in JavaScript? That's the question, right? So your first component you have created, you just have created a function, and that function is returning something. Now either you can write in this way, or you simply write export default. There are multiple ways of writing. We have seen what do you mean by import and export. Yes or no, team? Hello?
Yes, sir.
So you are exporting this function app from this file and importing it over here. Default means that you don't require any brackets over here. That is the meaning of export default. Well, that is not the concern right now. We have studied that. Remember that we are understanding the React component. What do you mean by React component? React component, a JavaScript function. I hope you are preparing the notes. A JavaScript function which starts with capital case. A JavaScript function which starts with the capital case and which returns the markup is called as React component. The JavaScript function, okay, I'm again saying JavaScript function which is starting, whose name is starting with the capital case. The JavaScript function whose name is starting with the capital case and which is returning the markup is called as React component. You getting my point? Is called as what? Is it clear? That is called as React component. Again I will say a JavaScript function which is starting with, whose name is starting with the capital case and which is returning a markup. But your question still remains, how you can write HTML in the JS? So this concept is called as JSX. Can you see? This concept is called as what? The syntax is called JSX and it lets you to embed markup inside JavaScript. What is JSX? Writing markup with the JSX. JSX is an extension for JavaScript that lets you to write HTML-like markup inside JavaScript file. Although there are other ways to write the components, most of the React developer prefer the conciseness of the JSX, and the most of the code base use it, right? JSX putting markup into the HTML. The web has been built on the HTML, CSS, JavaScript. For many years, web developers kept HTML, CSS and the logic in JavaScript often in a separate files. The content was marked up inside HTML while the page logic was in the JS. Something like this we have studied, yes or no? We have created a separate HTML, we have created a separate JS file, separate CSS file. Yes or no? Hello? Yes, sir. This is what we have studied. But whenever you talk about the React component, JavaScript contains the markup. That is called as JSX, extended JavaScript. Now there are rules of the JSX. It should return a single root element. Second rule, close all the tags. Camel case, almost all the things. If you see here, class name, right? Now these three rules you need to remember. First rule, return the single root element, which means that you cannot write. So if let's write a brackets over here just for understanding purpose. Hit the enter. So first rule of the JSX, one React component can have a single root. You cannot have these things. Can you see? You are breaking the first rule. Returning a single root. This is not possible. One React component can never have two roots. If you want to do that thing, you need to wrap it in a div, and every single tag needs to be closed. This is the thing. First thing, you cannot have two root elements for one React component. That you can have only and only single element like this, single root element, and inside that you can have a lot of other elements. Correct? Hello? Am I audible? Are you there? Yeah. So first rule, single root element. Second rule, close all the tags. You cannot, if you write something like this, we have a habit of writing input like this in the HTML. This is wrong. It will not work in a React. It will give you a trouble. Close all the tags. If you want to apply, see here, third rule, camel case almost of the things. JSX returns the JavaScript, and attributes written in the JSX becomes the JavaScript object. Remember that. What is happening here? If you have developed the project, you have seen that internally it is doing document.createElement, right? So from this code, technically the pure DOM code is getting generated. Hello? Pure DOM code is getting generated. How do you do this thing in a DOM? So first you will say document.createElement div. then document.create element h1, document.create element h1, document.create element text, and then you will add this h1 to this div.append child this h1, div.append child. So this is going to happen internally. Hello? Whatever DOM logic we have seen, that is going to happen internally. And that's why, so this type, everything would be getting created to the, everything would be getting converted to the JavaScript object. See, JSX turns JavaScript, and attributes written in the JSX become the JavaScript object. In your own components, you will often want to read those attributes into the variables. But JavaScript has limitations on the variable names. For example, their name can't contain the reserved keyword like class. So if you write a class over here, only class, remember that this thing is going to be converted to the JS internally, right? And JS is having class as a keyword. Yes or no? We have seen classes in the JavaScript, class car, right? Hello? So this line is going to get converted to the JavaScript object, and this class is a reserved keyword in the JavaScript, and that's why React says that don't use class, because the class is already reserved. Instead of that, you can use class name. This is what they are saying over here. Camel case, camel cased for most of the things, right? So it is converting these things, it is converting these things to the DOM internally. Whatever DOM you have written by your hand, this code would be getting converted to the DOM, but React will take care of that, right? So this is about the JSX. What is the JSX? See here, we have seen what is the JSX. So JSX is a syntax extension for JavaScript that lets you write HTML like markup inside a JavaScript file. Inside a JavaScript file. So whatever you see over here, that is the JSX. So what is the React component? When you say React component, your first component, components are one of the core concepts of the React. They are the foundation upon which you build the user interfaces, which makes them the perfect place to start your journey, right? Components. On the web, HTML lets you to create the structured documents that we have discussed. So if you want to define the component, see, React component is JavaScript function that you can sprinkle with the markup. It will return the markup. JavaScript function, and here is the note, right? Here is the note. Can you see React components are the regular JavaScript functions, but their names must start with the capital letter or they don't work. If you make A over here and if you try to run it, there is a problem. Can you see syntax error? Syntax error. If you do A over here, it will work. Refresh it. Can you see? So the React component is a JavaScript function which returns the JSX and starts, function name starts with the capital letter. Remember this part. Okay, let's write some fancy component. So this structure is also not needed. You can delete this thing also, no problem. So here we can say new file, and I want to say alert dot, even you can make the JS files also, no problem. So export alert export, even this can be a lambda. Const alert is equals to a lambda which is returning, we can say div inside this. This is also a React component, normal function or lambda, one and same. Let's open the tailwindcss.com components. Here we can go and components. Here we can see not tailwind UI, we need tailwind CSS. Click on the components. Just a minute. Yeah, alert, I need borders. Okay, okay, so this would be the alert. Just a minute. We need to create the alert on our own. So here we can apply the class name bg red, and we can give the opacity border, and here we can say border red and 400, and then border red 400, and let's use that alert over here. So first we need to import it. Import alert from this file, and simply you can call alert. If you run it, you will not see anything because we didn't add it. Hey hi, hey hi. Now what is the problem? Return div class name is equals to this. Okay, now this is the problem. So here we need to pass the string. Remember that. If you want to pass the string, now see, this is the JSX, and if inside the JSX, if inside the JSX you want to write the JavaScript code, remember that this is the HTML world and this is the JavaScript world. So I have const, say str is equals to some string. Const str is equals to some strings. Let's say bg red 100, and I want to apply this class over here. So I can, this is the JavaScript variable, I want to use it in a JSX. This is the str JavaScript variable, I want to use it in a JSX. So So you need this bracket. Here you can pass str. So inside a bracket, there is a JavaScript world. Inside these two brackets, there is a JavaScript world, right? So this is the JSX. Inside this two bracket, this is the JavaScript world, and JavaScript world is having a normal string, which is bgread 100. Okay. The fail to parse the source, invalid JS. If you are using JSX, make sure, okay. That is the concern. So make a rename this file and make it JSX. Okay. And refresh it. Hey, hi, we have said index.html main app.jsx alert, and in an app we have called the alert. Any error? Inspect console. Just do one thing, restart the server. npm run dev. Okay, that was the problem. Can you see a red background is there, right? Let's give little padding. So you can write the class name straight away over here also. And if you want to write that thing, remember that this is the value. So straight this value you need to write over here. You need to write it in the quotes. Straight away this copy and paste it, because here we need a value, and value can be passed in the quotes bgread, and here then we can say border. These are the built-in classes. In here we can say border red 400. Refresh it. Can you see little border is appearing over here? So text red 700, more darker red. Can you see this is a more darker red, and we need little margin from x-axis and y. X-axis px means what? From left and right both 4. Py means top and bottom 4. Can you see this? Padding, we have added the padding. And now we can make it rounded also. These are the clear edges, we can make the round. Just make a M5 for margin from all 4 sides. Can you see the brackets? The corners are acute. Just apply the rounded, DED, ROUNDED, rounded. Can you see corners become the rounded? Hello? A simple alert box we have created, that is in the form of React component. So we have used something called as JSX. Any questions? Hello? This is clear, right? Yes. All of you? Yes. Clear or not?
So in the export, the alert variable name is we give or anything.
We give what?
Alert name, variable name.
This one?
No. In the alert, that is const alert.
This is the variable name.
Yes. We can give anything.
Anything, but it should start from the capital case.
Yes, yes.
If it is a React component, it should start from the capital case.
Yes, sir.
So simple component we have created. We have talked about the JSX. So we'll take a pause over here today. We'll meet tomorrow and we will complete and we will start the next topic. Okay? Hello?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.